Hi, welcome to another episode of Mr. Anime Reviews, and tonight we will be going over Inuyasha's 3 and 4, and please don't make any more. Let us talk about the third movie. Swords of an Honorable Ruler. Well, I actually got suckered into buying this movie, and like I got suckered into buying the second one and the first one. And I really want to hang myself for that. However, I have to give the review, so I can't do that right now. But hey, maybe later. Basically, the story follows. I think there's an evil sword named the Songa, and it has been locked away for hundreds of years. When Inuyasha's father died, apparently 3 swords were forged: the Tetsaga, the Tenseiga, and the Songa, or the Soga, something like that. And it's funny how, it started out with that one sword, then there's another sword forged, and then there's another sword forged, and there's probably the old Civil War sword I have in my room it's probably forged by his father. Anyway, this is a very, very bad movie. It's not as bad as the first and second one, but it is really, really close. A lot of people like this movie because Inuyasha and Shumru team up at the end to fight this floating sword. A couple strong points I did like when the sword possesses Inuyasha and he destroys like miles and miles of people's property with one of the sword's attacks. I kind of like that. It's good action, I guess, but it's not going to be enough to save this. This is a really, really bad movie. I really don't know. The animation is good, but the animation 1 and 2 are really good. The CGI is not good, as is seen in the first and second movie, especially the first movie. The CGI in the first movie was a nightmare. This is a bad movie. Let us go on to number 4. Inuyasha 4, Fire on the Mystic Island. And this movie is very, very good. And I really mean that. I think this movie is a good movie. I like Fire on the Mystic Island. Basically, Inuyasha, Kagome, the whole team travels over to a mystic island which Inuyasha leaves a dark past on 50 years ago. It is inhabited by the 4 war gods, one of them voiced by Ted Cole. I picked up on that one right off. And, wow, what can I say? This is a pretty good movie. The storyline is for shit, but they all are. The whole series, the storyline of Inuyasha is basically shit. But this movie is very good, and the action is excellent. The CGI is not overdone, and there are times when I'm gripping the edge of my seat and wondering how in God's name is Inuyasha going to get himself out of this situation. The 4 war gods are menacing, quite devilish enemies, and they really, really work, and they really pull this movie together. The addition to the half-demon kids on the island could have been left out. That's kind of the whole premise of the movie, to bring Inuyasha over there. But this basically, the half-demon children every so often have to sacrifice one of themselves for the 4 war gods, and Inuyasha's going over there to stop it and kick their ass, and I really love the ending fight scene. It is very good. Inuyasha keeps getting knocked down, he keeps getting back up, just like we love to see him do. And the animation is very good. And the problem with the Inuyasha movie, music, it kind of just runs it into each other like a train. Like, it's all the same, The music is, I can't really differentiate music from movie to movie because it's basically the same thing, only compiled, there's a couple arpeggios up here and Parchadia. I wasn't in band very long, I'm sorry. But Inuyasha 4, Fire on the Mystic Island, is a winner. And if you haven't seen it, well, most people stop after the first movie because it's very bad. And the second one and third one are also not too good. But the fourth one is a real jewel. I think you'll like it. I know I liked it. The third movie, I'm going to have to throw a 6 out of 10 rating. It is a bad movie. 6 out of 10 might seem like an okay rating, but for Mr. Anime, that is not so great. But however, Fire on the Mystic Island, easily going to earn 8 out of 10. Solid action Inuyasha picture. I'm glad that I saw Fire on the Mystic Island. As you can see, heavily in the front foreground is Outlaw Star, and a couple people have been messaging me requesting a solo review of Outlaw Star. I had a review of Outlaw Star with anime journalist Ethan Carter. However, some people wanted to hear a solo review, so here we go. The story follows Gene Starwind and his little buddy Jim. They own a parts machine shop. Gene has always gone outside, looked up at the stars, and wanted a ship of his own. This is a very futuristic show, and it is one of the best space shows I've ever seen. I really like Outlaw Star, I gotta tell you right off the bat. The animation is really great. The fight scenes are really riveting and on edge. The villains, well, there's a lot of villains throughout. They're quite the devilish characters. They're quite evil and menacing and threatening and just big presence on screen when you see them. They're not just these cookie cutter shit villains that you see in like Inuyasha movies. But anyway, Outlaw Star is a very good show. I'm sure that a lot of people who watch anime a lot have seen this show. You know, it has broadcasted on Anime Network. I know that for sure. And Adult Swim at night. I also know it had been on there for a while. Outlaw Star, you got to pick it up. It's rated 13 and up. There is one brief scene of nudity. The characters are very fun in this show. They are among the funnest characters. They are probably the funnest team of characters that I have ever spent my time with on a 26 episode anime. I didn't even have this much fun with the Outlaw Star characters, and they were fun, but I didn't have as much fun with them as I had with the Outlaw Star crew. And wow, what can I say? I watch this anime in full at least once a year, if not twice a year, when I ever get that Outlaw Star craze. I remember about 5 months ago, I was just sitting there and I'm like, bam, I want to watch Outlaw Star. Finished it all in one sitting, and it was just as enjoyable as it was the first time I saw it. And that is exactly what you need in an anime. When you watch it again, and it is just as enjoyable. Maybe not as rigid and suspenseful because you know what's going to happen, but it still brings sad, happy, and just completely tedious moments. Outlaw Star really gets me excited. I love this show. I'm going to have to say 9.5 out of 10. It is not my favorite show of all time, but when I do release my top 5 best animes of all time, all of which have at least one time been included in the reviews. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of animes. This is just a list on what I've seen. I will release that list, and I will update you on the end of the Mr. Anime review series, which is coming up soon. But don't worry, because I have a special surprise that will probably excite you all.